Greetings and salutations to you all once again. It is me, the Ravenous Spectre, and this is a pickups video. Actually, I ended up doing a video today of the February gaming loot crate, and now I'm doing a pickups video as I had mentioned in the last video, and I'm actually wearing the shirt from the February loot crate. And I'm cutting my head off here, so let's just adjust that a bit. Okay, that's just fine. Okay, now that we're adjusted properly, I have some games to show you guys. It's not as many as I usually show because I try to keep pickups, closer together so I don't have to have really long videos or a lot of games to talk about, because there's a few in this stack that I kind of have a lot to talk about, so I guess that's just going to, take up some time, and I guess that's better to get a little bit more in depth about certain games instead of having a lot of games to talk about, especially ones that I just picked up and I'm like, well, I don't really know what this game is about. I just read the back of the case and played it for like 5 minutes. Full review coming tomorrow, or something like that. It's just stupid. But anyways, I actually did a full review. It wasn't a full review. It was a review in progress, I guess you could say, because I played like 9 or 10 hours of the game, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get my little review thingy. But that is Horizon Zero Dawn. This is an amazing game. Go buy this game. If you have a PlayStation 4, buy this game. If you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, buy this game. If you don't have a PlayStation 4, buy a PlayStation 4 or buy a PlayStation 4 Pro and buy this game because it's freaking amazing. If you want more on my little review about this lovely, lovely gem, and I cannot wait for a sequel. It has to have a sequel. I want a freaking sequel. It is amazing. Go buy the damn thing because it's amazing. You can see that my review on this channel, it says my review in progress for Horizon Zero Dawn, but definitely worth the wait. Freaking awesome game. Definitely one of my games of the year. I don't know if it will be my game of the year, but it's on my list for sure. So it's already up there on the list. So I'll be talking about this lovely baby at the end of the year. Abso-freaking-lutely. But oh yeah. But anyways, the next one that we have up here is Yakuza 0. And this is actually a game that's supposed to take place before any of the other Yakuzas, which I guess that makes sense knowing it's Yakuza 0. It's supposed to be a prequel of sorts. Yeah, and I've never really gotten into the series. I've never really played it. I played very little of it when I think it was either the third one or fourth one or something like that was free on PlayStation Plus, and I gave it a shot when I was playing it on PlayStation 3, which I don't deal with PlayStation Plus anymore. But from what little I played, I couldn't really get into it. I guess at that point in time, it was a game that I really didn't really feel like playing at that point in time. So I was like, yeah, well, you know what, the heck with it. I won't bother with it. And plus the fact that I had to read all of the dialogue, and it's kind of funny coming from someone who really loves RPGs, but considering RPGs nowadays are a hell of a lot more in-depth as time wears on, which they have been a hell of a lot in-depth ever since the genre was created. But I guess in terms of like voice acting and things like that, I really wish there was an option to have English voice acting in this. I mean, yeah, I know it kind of takes away, I guess, a little bit of the whole mystique surrounding the fact of it being in the Yakuza and things like that, of it actually being within that world. And it takes place in the 1980s in Japan. And it's basically like an action RPG, if you will. You level up as you go along. You get other skills. You get other fighting styles. And there's a lot of side quests you can take on. Some are serious. Some are goofy. It's just crazy, especially the story itself, which is pretty freaking serious. It's pretty awesome, too, honestly. I'm actually going to get back to playing this again. I got sidetracked with Horizon and got sidetracked with Zelda Breath of the Wild, so I'm definitely going to end up getting back into this again, without a doubt. If you guys were wondering, and actually, as a matter of fact, they're doing a remake of the first game that came out, I believe it was on PS2, coming to PS4, so definitely looking forward to that one, especially when I finish this one. I'm looking forward to that first one, because I've always wanted to, now since getting into this, I wanted to play the first one, but I'm like, well, I'm just going to take it off my list for me to get it on PS2, because, hell, if it's coming to PS4, I might as well just go ahead and get it on there, knowing it's going to be a remake as well. So this is definitely one to check out, without a shadow of a doubt, if you're into action role-playing games. I guess that's what you, yeah, I guess that's basically what you could say. It's an action role-playing game. I mean, it's a beat 'em up too, but it's it's got like an ass load of like mini games and side quests, and I can't even fathom doing them all. I just do what interests me and just and just go from there. But it's really awesome for sure. It's getting a lot of high praises as well, and absolutely, in terms of the story, in terms of the gameplay, everything. So definitely going to be one that I'm going to be jumping back into. The next one that we have here is Nier Automata. And by the way, this is the reverse sleeve, if you just want to kind of check that out. This is the reverse sleeve. I'll show you guys the main sleeve itself, and I'll tell you why I ended up flipping it around. Because for one, I really do like the artwork on there, without a shadow of a doubt. And the reason, and this is the main sleeve itself, if you will, if you can kind of look on there, you can probably tell why I went ahead and flipped it around. Even though the cover itself looks badass, what's some of that text that you see on there that I have talked so many times in the past of new games that come out when you buy them day one? Day one edition. Day fucking one fucking edition on the cover of the lovely, lovely artwork that's right there. I really do like that cover. I do. But that right there, that little day one edition thing is a plague. It's a plague from hell, and it needs to be abolished. And that's exactly what I'm doing by flipping the artwork around. I do like that cover. I really do like that cover. But that day one thing, it just irks me. I mean, you know, it's good that they have this. It's good that they have the alternate cover on there, because even if it wasn't, I would be like, well, I guess I'll just take a little piece of black tape or something and put it across that that day one edition thingy. I don't know. It just gets to me, because if it's like, okay, if it's a day one thing, then to me, I kind of feel like to me, when it feels like day one, knowing I'm a physical kind of guy, you know, no pun intended, but physical kind of guy in terms of media, I want things that I can hold. I want things that I can possess, that I can have. And in addition, to me, when somebody puts that on a game, it's like I feel like there's something else that I need to have out of it. Not just all this digital download DLC bullshit crap, penny DLC shit that comes along with day one editions. Day one editions. I'm fucking tired of day one editions thing all the time. And that's one thing that, I mean, I have some games that have that on there, and I'm just like, oh my god. You know, it's just like, technically, it's not really a day one edition. If probably a couple days down the road or a couple weeks down the line, you can still go on PlayStation Network and download the damn thing. So what? That isn't a day one edition. That's an everyday edition, because it's going to be on the network forever and a day as long as you keep it on there. So it's a lie. It's a lie from the devil. I'm just, you know, I hate that crap, dude. I do. It's just like, oh yeah, it's day one edition. You can only get this stuff on day one. You're a fucking liar, because that's not the case. Because I've seen DLC and I've seen digital content that has been on PlayStation Network that has been with these day one editions. It's a flat out, it's just a marketing scheme. That's just all it is. It's a flat out lie. It's bullshit. You know, that's one reason why I don't give in to these 50 billion different versions of a game that they come out with that can range anywhere between $60 to $1 billion. You know, I know I'm really exaggerating that, but that's just something that gets to me. It's not like I'm really owning it. I'm owning code that is just on the network that I'm using to enhance my gameplay experience. That's all it is. You know, it's not like something physical, something tangible that I can hold it and look at it and be like, oh, this is, you know, really awesome. And anyways, I'll get off that little rant now, because we're already at almost 9.5 minutes. Next one that I have here is a Switch game. As you can see, they actually look like PSP cases, if you will. The physical ones. You know, that looks really cool inside. I like that artwork there. Obviously, it's Zelda Breath of the Wild, because this was the only game that's worth a shit on the Switch right now, to be quite honest. The only game that is worth a damn. And actually, to me, this game was the end of the Wii U and the start of the Switch. If you kind of think of it like that, it's kind of sad, really. because the Wii U was a great system. It had a lot of great games that came out for it, but Nintendo didn't advertise it for shit, and it just fell by the wayside. And I think that's one reason why they have high prices on their accessories right now for the Switch, because of the fact they're trying to make up for their losses for the Wii U games and the Wii U games, the Wii U systems and all of that. Meanwhile, I've ended up hearing about, oh yeah, Nintendo has a whole lot of money in the bank. They can afford it. They can afford this and that and the other. But then again, here they are charging out the ass for these controllers. Meanwhile, you have Xbox and PlayStation that sell their controllers $50 to $60, and it's one unit. It's one unit. It's not two separate units like what it is with the Joy-Cons, which you need both of them to play a damn game, to have them either on the system or on the little dog-eared controller. So, there's that. Again, and the Pro Controller being, shit, what is it, like $70 or something, dude? Kiss my ass. That ain't happening. The only way that I'll ever get a Pro Controller is if it goes on sale, on like a deep sale or like half price or something like that. But I'm just fine and well with the two Joy-Cons that I got right now. Anyways, that's another thing with the Switch, which I also ended up doing a Switch review, as a matter of fact, and it's right there on my channel for what my overall thoughts were on the Switch as of right now. But I like this game. I hate this game. This is a beautiful game. I like open world games. I'm glad it's an open world game. I cannot stand the fact that the weapons break after like 2, 4, 5 fucking hits. It aggravates the shit out of me. It's just like I can understand if you take a tree branch or something and hit an enemy with it. Yeah, the damn thing's gonna break. But if I got like a big ass claymore or something, that thing should take like 15,000 hits or something before it freaking breaks. I mean, seriously, it just I cannot stand that they're breakable like that, and I just have to keep flipping through weapons all the time, and sometimes you get weaker weapons and sometimes you get stronger weapons, which is actually good that Nintendo has implemented the fact that any Zelda amiibos that you use can actually bring you random items into the game. And I've actually gotten 2 awesome shields that have a high resistance and like 2 claymores or something that have a high attack. I forgot what amiibo it was that I used, but it'll drop other stuff like materials you can use, monster materials, meat you can cook, all of that. And it can also give you rupees as well, things of that nature. Give you arrows, fire arrows, bomb arrows, stuff like that. Bow and arrows, bows and shields and things like that. The stamina is another thing that kind of gets to me. It's like, you have to go to these shrines. I think there's like 112 or 120 shrines in the game. And every 4 shrines that you complete, you can end up taking the 4 orbs that you get to a statue of the god, a goddess statue or something like that, and go and either get a heart or either get your stamina increased. I started out doing stamina. I'm not doing stamina anymore. I've done stamina twice. Even though I would like to have more stamina, I'm focusing more on hearts because I want to be able to take on bigger challenges in the game as it wears on. So I'm just kind of, going through, running a bit, stopping, running a bit, stopping. I'm trying to juggle it a bit, like I'm trying to move and then stop and just kind of, make it like a pendulum effect. Just try to make it go back and forth. Like I almost get there and I let it feel. Like let it feel, kind of like that, instead of just running full force and running all out of it. And then Link is like, here I am, a fit elf running around, and I can't even stay on my feet for like 2 seconds running, and I get all winded. You think him sleeping for 100 years and him losing weight, if he ever gained any, would have been more than enough reason for him to get out and stretch his legs and run longer than a few freaking seconds. So, anyways, on that note, the open world is cool. It kind of seems like even though it's open and vast, it seems like quite a bit of it is kind of empty, at least from what I've seen. It seems to me like even though there's certain areas that you should explore, like there is one main trail that you should follow. And I mean, yeah, you could just go and try to fight Ganon right off the bat. I haven't seen the video, but I've heard somebody ended up beating the game in like 15 minutes or something like that, 18 minutes, something. I'm like, shit. I mean, that ain't going to be me, obviously, but I actually tried to go up to Ganon's castle, which I guess is like Hyrule Castle or something like that. I think he's taking that over, something, I don't know. I actually was like, you know what the hell, I'm going to see what it's like here. Started going there, to freaking Guardians everywhere. I hate Guardians in this game. I swear to God, I just want to, like, rip their heads off and shit down their throats. I hate the Guardians in this. In order to really fight them, you have to go, which I mean, well, basically, I don't really think there's any way for you to really fight them except for getting these special arrows made, and so that they can really damage them. I've heard bomb arrows work pretty well, maybe fire arrows, maybe even lightning arrows. I haven't tried those yet because I've really tried to avoid them. But if they shoot their laser at you, you can put up your shield like right at the last moment. Like you can't just hold it up just trying to block the, why can't you just hold it up and block it like you would an enemy attack? And just have it bounce off the lasers and go back and hit the Guardian. That's just how I see it. And then, of course, I know you're going to make the damn thing break in like 3 hits, so you might as well just go ahead and just have me do that instead of having to do it right at the last second. I might be ranting a lot about this, but there's a lot of good to be had out of this as well. It's really colorful. I love taking screenshots and sharing them because it's a beautiful open world, nice color palette. It has that Wind Waker vibe to it, like a cel-shaded look. I do like the combat. To me, it's fluid. And I like the ragdoll physics. I do like the physics in the game, but sometimes they can kind of piss me off, especially one of these specific shrines that has to deal with you getting a ball down this ramp that is like with water, and it's like ping-ponging around, almost like inside of a pinball machine, and you have to get it over to this hole so that it can open this door so you can get the orb. But if you don't, otherwise it'll roll off the edge, and you have to bring up ice blocks to make it kind of go just right, and then move on over into the hole, or use stasis to stop it, to be able to knock it over in the hole, and I'm just like, the hell with this shrine. I'm not doing this shrine. I've tried it 50 gajillion times, and I'm not doing it any damn more. So, but there is a lot to like about this. I can only take so much, though. I can only play so much until it just starts to really tax on me, and I have to go to something else, because stamina, man, I'm just like, all the time. I'm doing that, and I'm like, Jesus H. Christ, just please let me just get to where the hell I need to go. And not to mention the fact that the damn horses piss me off, because they're antsy as hell. You're going along the path, and I mean, they follow the roads, but for some reason it seems like they don't follow along bridges, and you have to make sure you can catch them in the wild. But actually, if you use one of the amiibos, I think it's the Smash Brothers amiibo, the first Link that came out, you can get Epona, and you can use her and get her in a stable and be able to use her, which I made the mistake of not doing that, so I'll have to summon her again, but hopefully. And and it just seems to me like it's better for me just to walk on my own, and deal with the stamina issue instead of, if you're going through one wide area, it's cool to get on a horse or whatever, which, I mean, the horses are going to have different, they're going to have different staminas and different ways of interacting with you, because there's actually a lot of different steeds out there. You can even ride the wildlife, as a matter of fact. It's not really the same as riding a horse. But, yeah, and another thing that kind of really gets to me is there's not really a lot of music in this, which doesn't make any sense to me. One of the main things that's really been big about the Zelda series has been the music. And I actually ended up seeing an article earlier about The Legend of Zelda. I think it's like called Symphony of the Goddesses or something, some type of concert that's supposed to be going on tour. And they were talking about having music from Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, what, like the whole 2 tracks or something that they have on there? Because there's like no music or anything really in this game. There's a lot of ambient sound, like birds and birds chirping and deers fucking and bears roaring and frogs dancing the tango in the moonlight or some shit. It's just, and I know it seems like I'm ranting on this a bit, like dealing with cons. And now this is just my opinion. While those things are there for me, I mean, I still do like it, and it's just I have to take it in short bursts. And when it when it comes to a certain point, when I feel like I'm actually making more progress, then I'll go ahead and move onward to the next thing, and so on and so forth. I can only play it so much. I do appreciate it, and I do like it, but there's just certain things in there that can't keep me doing like marathon sessions. There's no way that can possibly happen for me at all. By the way, I want to go back real quick and talk about Nier Automata. Obviously it's like an action role-playing game. The thing that I wanted to mention is the fact that it's interesting that there is multiple endings, which the first Nier was like that as well. There's multiple endings in this, and basically you'll go through your first you'll go through your first playthrough, which the main story isn't really that long, and there's quite a few side quests as well. You'll go through the first playthrough, and then you'll go through a second playthrough with like a different perspective, if you will. I'm not spoiling anything here. I'm just trying to give some insight. And then you have a third, fourth, and fifth playthrough. Currently, I'm on my third playthrough, and it seems like each playthrough there's different side quests that pop up. There's different items. There's different battle encounters. There's like different weapons that pop up as well, different story segments, different cutscenes, everything like that. Just there's a lot of great stuff that's in this game. It truly is. Now, granted, it's not the prettiest in terms of like color palette, like what I was mentioning before with Zelda, but honestly, it's still really cool. It's still really fun. Platinum did the combat in it, and the story is there. Obviously, this is actually like a spin-off series from Drakengard, and Nier spun off from Drakengard off of one of his endings. It was Drakengard was on PS2, Nier went to PS3, and now here you got this one on PS4, and I really do hope we get a sequel. I mean, I'm really loving this, and I'm really liking it. Without a doubt, I'm really trying to follow everything, every little detail and story and all of that, but it's definitely worth a buy. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. I was too busy talking about day one editions and the cover and all of that. I guess I just got a lot to say about the stuff. Oh, and by the way, speaking of Zelda, I also ended up getting the strategy guide. I do not get strategy guides. The only time that I ever get strategy guides is when it's a RPG and the RPG is pissing me the hell off. Of course, I do check YouTube videos. I do that a lot. I check game FAQs and all of that. I always check that stuff first. But if I feel like if it's such a massive, monumental thing that I really just need to get a strategy guide, it's going to be for a role-playing game. And to be quite honest, I'm glad I got this. I'm glad it's by Piggyback. I don't know if they have something to do with Prima or not, but Prima, to me, at least from my experiences, they never really put out the best strategy guides. They weren't really that thorough, at least from my experience now. I don't really know who Piggyback is. I've never heard of them. This is like the first strategy guide I've gotten since God knows when, man. God knows when. But yeah, it's really in depth. It honestly really is. It's got a lot of solutions. It's got all the shrines. It's got the side quests. It's got just everything. I'm hoping that they have everything that's in here. But of course, you know how games are nowadays as they update over time, which I hope they do some updates to Breath of the Wild, like the damn stamina and the damn weapons, especially the freaking weapons, for God's sakes. Thank God your armor doesn't degrade. Holy shit. I wouldn't even play the damn thing then. I was like, oh, I'm out. Fuck it. I'm just going to sell this thing, hold on to the Switch until some new games come out. But anyways, yeah, guys, if you do get Breath of the Wild and you're really feeling taxed, I highly suggest you go ahead and get the strategy guide, because it's been a real help for me. It truly has. But anyways, we'll go on to the next game here, and that is Kirby. Big change from everything else. Kirby Triple Deluxe. I ended up getting it for $20 at GameStop. I found out that obviously this was one of the Nintendo Select series, and I've always been a fan of Kirby. Ever since Kirby came out, I've always been interested in wanting to play a lot of his games because it's just cute and whimsical and funny and crazy and all of that. This is an awesome game. It truly is. It's colorful. It's a side-scrolling platformer. The different powers and things you get for Kirby is just awesome. And I have quite a few other Kirby games as well, but this was freaking awesome. It truly is. I haven't completed it yet, but you can't get over the whimsical charm that is Kirby. He's just like, hi, 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 and then he does his little dance and he does hi, all that weird stuff or whatever. He goes, hey, the little cream powder puff dude that he is. I think he's pretty much just a black hole inside out, because he just sucks stuff in, swallows it, and it goes to nowhere. He doesn't even have any damn intestines, for God's sakes. He's just a bouncing little puffball with like shoes and eyes and a mouth, just whatever. But anyways, yeah, this is definitely an awesome game. Definitely fun. The music is awesome. The gameplay is awesome, and I'm really interested to know what Nintendo might do with Kirby on the Switch. I hope they do something with Kirby on the Switch. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of freaking series that they haven't explored for years on end, and I do not know why. And that's something they definitely need to do. I think that's something they definitely need to do for the Switch, because, obviously they crapped out with the Wii U, so the Switch needs to be their saving grace. And the last game that I got here today is Legend of Legacy on the 3DS. This is a turn-based role-playing game, and it has a really interesting premise. You'll go out into the world and you'll explore it as you walk along. And you're coming in contact with monsters, obviously. But you have seven, I think it's like seven different people that you'll choose from, and from what I've heard, there's not really too much of a difference in terms of the regular story that you go through. It's just when you start out, your story is different, obviously, because it's for your own specific character. I don't know if there's a difference in the ending or not. I haven't put too much time into this, but this one was also $20 as well. I told myself I really want to check it out, but I don't want to pay full price for it, especially for some of the reviews and things that I've been seeing. And anyways, I'll just open it up here real quick and give you guys a little gander as to what's all in the inside of it. And of course, we have, first and foremost, the game. I actually flipped this inside out, as a matter of fact. The other cover is just like this. It's just that right there. But I was like, I want to give a little bit more insight to the art direction in the game. So I went ahead and see, you can see right there how it's the same thing right there as it is on the back. So I thought it was cool when you actually opened it with all the little holes and things that was on the inside. It was showing you the character portraits inside of there. So I was like, I'm just going to flip it inside out. And sure enough, I did. And it does. It looks really cool when it's just like that. And there's like different elements and things that you summon in the game that your enemies can do the same thing, but you can do it as well to try to balance the playing field. And I guess whatever stronger element you have, you can actually, your attacks go against your enemies in a more spectacular fashion, like they're stronger or something like that, I believe. And this is a little art book that they ended up including, which honestly is pretty cool. I'm going from the back and going to the front. Anyways, yeah, but let's just see here. We'll just kind of go through this a little bit. Got a little bit of enemy designs there. Got some characters right there. Really, really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. And of course, we also have a sampler soundtrack. It's got 10 tracks on it. Honestly, it is a sampler for sure, because I don't even think it only the whole CD, I think, is like maybe 20 minutes, I think 15, 20 minutes, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just I like the artwork on it and all that, but it's just a little sampler. That's all that it is. I mean, I love the way that looks, the artwork on there. It just sucks that I hate when they bring out these special editions and of these games, and it's just like, we're not going to give you the full soundtrack, we're just going to give you a sampler. I'm like, come on, man, really? That's one thing that kind of gets to me. I'm like, if it's going to be a special edition and you're going to get, it's just like, it almost like they just give you a little taste of something, like especially with the art book, for example. It's like they got a few little pieces of art in there, and here you got the soundtrack. You got a few little pieces of music in there, and I guarantee you, probably playing it in the game, if I play it from beginning to end, there's probably going to be like 30 tracks in there, 40 tracks, 50 tracks. I have no clue, but I guarantee you, it can't be 10. And that's how much is on here. It's just 10 tracks, But anyways, the game itself is actually pretty fun. It can get kind of challenging at times, but from what I've experienced, I'm honestly liking it. And honestly, for the price, to get all of this for like $20, hell, I wasn't going to pass it up. Especially for Kirby Triple Deluxe, because I also been waiting for that to go down in price as well. And we all know how Nintendo are with their games, so maybe something can change. Maybe something can change with the Switch. Maybe they can kind of go the route of PlayStation and Xbox, when over a certain period of time, games devalue and they go down in price. I mean, hell, they're already going to do a paid online service, for God's sakes. So, hell, why not go ahead and do that with the games as well? I don't know. It kind of seems like games are all going a certain route anyways nowadays, so might as well just, I guess it's like the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them, or whatever. But anyways, that is all my pickups, ladies and gentlemen, and I reckon that's all I got to say about that. So I will go ahead and talk at you lovely taters later, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever that might be. I'm not sure yet, but I shall see you when I see you. Later, taters.